millions missing, and International ME/CFS Awareness Day, a devastating disease that has crippled my life and the lives of approximately 30 million people worldwide. A number, no doubt, that will soon be doubled because of the pandemic, because in vast majority of cases, ME/CFS is triggered by a viral infection. Coronavirus is just another virus. I have spoken at great length over the years about ME/CFS, so today I will read what I have summarized that I wish people knew about ME/CFS. That it's not being tired or even fatigued. It is an extremely serious, devastating systemic neuroimmune disease that robs people's cells of the ability to generate energy to a point where they cannot conduct even simple activities of daily living like brushing their teeth. Some people are so severe that their eyes do not have the energy to process visual stimuli, and even seeing letters or numbers can cause them to crash. That the words tiredness and even fatigue are extremely insulting to us. We use the word fatigue because we don't have any other options, but please do not use the word tiredness. ME feels like being moments away from death without actually dying, and this goes on for years or decades. That's not tiredness. A good term to use is energy impairment. That you cannot tell how sick we are by looking at us. People have a really hard time to believe that I am less capable than your 90-year-old grandma. But you have to believe me. It's not up to you to decide. I am telling you how sick I am. That you cannot push through to keep going, just like you cannot push through being dead. That strength of character, willpower and determination mean nothing against this horrifying disease. That every exertion, mental, physical, cognitive or emotional beyond a patient's individual energy envelope will result in worsening of the disease for days, weeks, months and sometimes permanently. Almost all patients who try to keep going in those early stages, tried to work and exercise, myself included, have become permanently worse and often permanently house or bedbound. That this is the only disease on the planet where the harder you try to get better, the worse you actually get. It's like quicksand and it's terrifying. That there is no such thing as mild ME. Even in its mildest form, the disease takes away a minimum 50% of your previous function. That's not mild. The mildest patients may still be able to maintain some form of employment, but in order to do that, they will have sacrificed everything else in life and they spend every moment outside of work recovering. 75% of patients cannot work at all. The most severe patients are completely bedbound 24/7, tube-fed, laying in dark rooms with ear defenders. Every single thing causes them to crash. They cannot even be touched. That anyone who tells you they have ME/CFS whilst going to the gym, having a hard workout, going out and complaining of being tired does not have ME. There's a lot of people who seem to think they have ME. No, ME is a really serious disease. People who are just tired do not have ME. I wish that people knew that this is not a character flaw, that people are not sick because they haven't tried hard enough to get better. Quite to the contrary, this disease seems to preferentially take highly successful, hardworking, determined people in their prime, usually incredibly fit people with great careers, academic record and everything to live for, often athletes, lawyers, academic and doctors. I wish that people knew that recovery is extremely rare. 95% of people do not recover, that nothing works to make it better. Believe us, we have tried everything, including all the usual stupid things people love to recommend. In our desperation, we have tried it all, so trust us when we tell you it doesn't work. Very rarely people are lucky enough to spontaneously recover, and then they falsely attribute something that they did to that recovery. They somehow seem to think that they've done recovery right and everyone else who is sick, they're not doing it right. And this is abysmal and an insult of the highest order. If someone recovers, they were simply lucky. It is nothing that they did. They were either lucky that they spontaneously recovered, they were lucky that they had access to something that worked, and they were lucky that their particular pathology was amenable to something they happened to come across and tried. That if your neighbour's aunt tells you that apparently she had it and recovered, the chances are she didn't have it. That anyone who tells you they knew someone who had it and recovered by changing their diet, taking some supplements, doing yoga, changing their mindset, pushing themselves, or saying they simply had to recover for their children, they didn't have it. Like I already said, this disease does not respond to strength of character. You cannot will yourself to recover, and it is extremely ignorant, arrogant, and insulting to claim otherwise. That we do not appreciate unsolicited advice on how to cure our incurable disease. There is no cure. Once again, please remember that we have tried everything, and if we choose to try more things, it is up to us and no one else. So please do not stick your nose in, do not recommend things, and just simply go away. That this is pretty much the worst funded of all major diseases on the planet. The research funding it receives is a teeny tiny fraction when compared to diseases of a similar burden. Just for one example, MS is half as common, and yet it receives 20 times more biomedical research funding. And this is precisely why we still don't have a single biomarker or a single treatment. I wish that people knew that the level of disability combined with lack of treatments, lack of medical help, public ignorance and stigma makes this disease one with the lowest quality of life scores of all major diseases. That as a result of this, ME patients are 6 times more likely than the general population to commit suicide, and indeed, suicide is the most common cause of death in ME. So help us bring an end to this horrifying disease. You can do that by sharing this video. It helps to create awareness, which in turn will translate into more research funding and eventually treatments. If you can, please donate to Open Medicine Foundation, who are spearheading research into this disease and are making incredible progress, even though they are only funded by donations from patients, their families, and other people who care. The governments do not fund this disease. If you made it this far, thank you very much. We just want to see some treatments to allow us to live to some human standard. Please help us make this happen.